All right. All right. Apologies for being a little bit late. I was walking. It's lovely out here. I hope everyone is well. I'm going to just set up some music, get the tunes out, taking a look at the Bitcoin price action right before the US market opens. So let's see. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just want to confirm. Brother. All right. We have some very interesting Bitcoin price action to go over today. A lot of similarities with the previous cycles. A lot of liquidity to discuss as well. There is some liquidity to the upside, as we've covered. But let me just pop on some decent music for now. All right, there we go. Got some tunes. Let's drag this a bit. Good morning, legends. Man, I have to say, some of the comments on the video had me laughing yesterday. Bro, you look tired. You look like you need a break. I do need a break. This price action is tricky price action. But now we see how the price action develops because this is very, very interesting. So first thing I wanted to cover in today's live stream, as Bitcoin is taking a fall into the stock market open, is, if I can drag this, is the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rates. So we got this data approximately 1 hour ago. And if we click on the non-farm payrolls, it basically just means that the US added 115K jobs in April 2026, following an upwards revised 185 increase in March, and way above market forecasts. So what this means, technically speaking, from a non-farm payroll perspective, is that the job market is holding up pretty well. And it's a strange situation because whoever you talk to will say that it's very, very difficult to actually get a job in this kind of environment. But if you're already working a job, they're not necessarily letting go of a lot of people quite yet. So we're not at that phase. So it's a little bit of a middle ground. And what this effectively means is with inflation still relatively sticky, the odds of rate cuts are significantly reduced. I mean, we talked about this previously, and let me just pop open another tab here, and we take a look at CME Fed Watch. So we go down here. You can see that the odds for a rate cut at the next meeting, 325 to 350, 6.1%. In July, basically nothing. In September, basically nothing. In October, basically nothing. December, basically nothing. So it's very, very interesting to see. Like, we're probably not going to get rate cuts for a while. That's at least what the market is pricing in. And we might actually get rate hikes. Like, there's probabilities of getting rate hikes over rate cuts by the end or by the beginning of next year. Obviously, these things can change and the market prices it in differently. But it's something we must consider. What about all the AI companies letting people go? Yeah, I mean, it's something to consider. We saw with Coinbase letting people go. Coinbase missed their earnings like you would not believe. And they've been down now for over 5 hours after coming out with their horrible earnings report. And they're letting go of people. And remember, these are the kind of guys that will come out and leave a tweet saying sidelined, because we discussed this as well. Check this out. I think it was directly from the Coinbase account. I can do a search here, right? There you go. April 17th, sidelined, and we got a nice rally, obviously. So what is next for Bitcoin? Because what we're seeing here is interesting price action. You can potentially consider that with Bitcoin below $80,600, it will continue to struggle until we can reclaim this level. Now, I want to take you through why this level is so important and why I highlighted it in my previous video as well. So $80,600 is pivotal because it's the bottom of that previous range. So for the bulls out there, if Bitcoin is to reclaim $80,600 and we start to get strong candle closes back above here, then all valid. But here's the thing to consider. Here's the thing to consider. In 2022, we had the similar price action in the sense of we broke above Bitcoin's bull market support band. Sorry guys, if it's lagging, it should be back. That's so frustrating. I paid extra and I am plugged into the router as well. So I hope that it's stable. So, what was I saying? Okay. So, $80,600. Crucial level simply because it would mean that we're reclaiming the bottom of the previous range, opening up a lot of upside potential for Bitcoin. But until we can actually get at that level, I still am bearish from a higher time frame perspective. Now, my ultimate flip level in the more immediate short term, audio is gone. Guys, can you hear me? Oh, it's frustrating. No sound. Testing. Audio gone. For me, the sound is fine. Can you guys refresh? Refresh the stream. Okay. So, back to this. The reason I want to talk about this is because it will tell us whether or not Bitcoin can reclaim a key level and potentially expand into an even larger range. Now, this range is very, very significant. I don't want to downplay it. You guys know that I've been relatively bearish on Bitcoin simply because I think that what we're seeing is a carbon copy almost of the previous bear market years, where you get a relief rally and next thing you know, we dump. So I'm a swing trader, as a lot of you know by now, and $80,600, bottom of this range, opens up a lot more upside. Now, let's take a look at where Bitcoin actually rejected, because I talked about this in my previous video. One moment. I talked about this in my previous video. We have a lot of confluence ahead, and a lot of people are currently talking about Bitcoin pumping to around $83,000 to $85,000. But we have to understand that sometimes the market doesn't give the perfect retests that we want. If you're bearish and you think that this is just a relief rally, which I personally think is, maybe you don't have the same opinion as me. Maybe this is the start of a parabolic move, you would expect Bitcoin to reject relatively soon. Devault Trading, smash that like, legends. From the bottom here, we've rallied. Wow, that was almost a 40% rally, guys. That's pretty significant. And you want to know when that happened as well? Daily time frame. I'm taking you back to 2022, and this is why it's crucial that we pay attention to historical price action. Check this out. If this plays out, we live in a simulation. Like, if this plays out, we have to live in a simulation. Look at this. From the low to the high, 46% rally. So granted, there could be some more upside, but I want you to pay attention to the key moving average. Look at this. The more I zoom in, the more you can see here that Bitcoin effectively did not hit its 200-day moving average. So we broke above the bull market support band. We rejected on the first attempt, which we did this time as well, broke above the bull market support band. Then we just managed to scrape that 200-day moving average. Some of you guys think that it's bullshit, these moving averages, and to each their own. Maybe you don't think that it makes sense. Maybe you don't think it makes sense. But in my experience, taking a look at other bear markets as well, which we'll go over on the Bitstamp chart, history tends to be very, very similar. Doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes. And look at this. Look at what happened recently. And this is the question on everyone's mind. Was that it? Because we came within inches of that 200-day moving average. And check this out. First push to the bull market support band, and we got rejected. Second push, we managed to get right through it. So what we must consider is that historical price action would suggest that after that second push, we get that move up to here. There's a lot of resistance ahead. We had a lot of longs piling into the market, and perhaps this was it. Maybe we go for a cheeky double top. I am positioned, and you can see that my Bitcoin short trade, I'm still holding on to the position, and if we move higher, I will add to my position, but I actually trimmed a little bit. But I just want you to all be aware that I still continue to hold my position because I really do think that we're approaching a higher time frame rejection. So back to this. What is the bull case? What is the bull case? Because I don't want to make it seem like I'm a fortune teller and I know exactly what's going to happen. No one knows with certainty. No one knows. It's all about probabilities. The bull case would be, number one, reclaiming $80,600 on a higher time frame candle close. So let's say we start getting 4-hour closes above 80,600. That, in my opinion, would suggest that perhaps Bitcoin can get a move to this zone. Now, this zone is arguably even more important. So yes, we did technically reject on the lower time frames right before hitting into that 200-day moving average, as we did in the previous cycles. But there's a lot to consider in this zone. So this light blue line all the way up here is called the anchored VWAP. Typically, in an uptrend, it acts as support, especially on the higher time frames. In a downtrend, it acts as resistance. This is where I entered my initial short. If you've been tuning into the content, you know this already. I went giga short right around here, took most of my profits below $65,000, and now I'm still holding on to the position. I shared this in my community today. I want this trade to be a public $500,000 trade, and if I get favorable price action, maybe we can run it up to $1 million in realized profits. I know there's some traders out there that are trading with even more capital, like Crypto and those kinds of guys, but my objective here is to get this to over 500K realized. That is the goal. And if you want to follow along, obviously you can tune into the streams, the videos, and you want to see how I am trading directly, remember that you do have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my own trades and my overall market analysis. The only requirement is that you've signed up with one of these affiliate exchange links and you start trading on there. I like all of these exchanges. I use them all. I have an account with BTCC, with Bluffin, with Tubit, with Velto, with Weeks. It doesn't matter. Just make one of these your go-to exchange and then you get access to what I'm doing in the market for free. So back to this. We have the 200-day moving average. We have the anchored VWAP, which is this light blue line. We also have this range over here. This is where Bitcoin effectively bottomed out before making a big move to the upside. So this is a pretty notable range. This is when Trump had that whole tariff talk in 2025. So if we take a look at this range, this turquoise line here is called the point of control of the range. So it's where it has the most volume. And what you'll notice is if I take a line and just draw it on this point of control, what does that give you? Perhaps I should change the color. Let's change this to, let's do yellow. Orange. No, yellow. Orange is hard to see. And I'll make it a bit thicker. So, what do you notice? The point of control of that range from the previous year is right in between the value area, right in between the 200-day moving average, the anchored VWAP. So this, as per my last video, this zone for Bitcoin from a higher time frame swing perspective is a great entry from a shorting perspective, in my opinion, of course. As I've said, I'm already shorting, right? I already want the position because there's times where we don't even tap into these kinds of levels. The market is looking for this kind of confluence. Everyone sees this, they're waiting for a short, and then what happens is we start to lose key levels like this level right here, $79,400, and then that's all she wrote. We start having an impulsive move to the downside, and that was it. So I'm just telling you what I'm doing, but if we are to go up here, in my opinion, that's like the last huge major line in the sand for the bears. If Tubit doesn't work for you, try Weeks. Weeks also have a great bonus. I would highly consider Weeks as well. Solid exchange. I really like them, along with Bluffin. You guys know Bluffin's my go-to. But see this confluence? Point of control of that range, the 200-day moving average, which historically acts as resistance in a bear market. Really, really does. Then the anchored VWAP from all-time high, which was the confluence that I needed to effectively enter my short here, right before it. So you'll notice a common theme here. We don't always tap into those levels perfectly. So, you eye a level like this, and sometimes close is good enough to start building out a swing position. So let's see how the price action develops, not adjusting my trades. I also shared in my previous video that I got stopped out of my Tau trade after making around 150K on that one. That was also shared in my group if you guys want to join. But it's a very, very interesting period in the markets because we also are starting to see that people are considering shorting, but there is interest in longing as well. And on the 30-day time frame, the leverage still looks really healthy in the sense of from a move to the downside. I think we saw a pretty solid rejection. Yeah, I think the rejection was pretty solid. Yeah, Deuce 8472. The weekly 50 is still the line in the sand. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because you said it's sitting right around 85.8K. I mean, that's like right up here. So guys, I know we want the most perfect entries and sometimes I enter these kinds of SFP shorts and stuff, but this zone is like call it between 83 to 86K, a $3,000 zone for Bitcoin, where if we're going to be bullish, you want to see Bitcoin break above and hold above that level. That is absolutely pivotal. Otherwise, what we've seen historically for Bitcoin, and I'll try to take a cleaner chart now, is just more drawdown. And I hate to be that guy, but it's true. And look, we're already getting comments. I would short around 83, and it's valid. Look, 83 is a great entry if you can manage to get it. But the only thing is, like I said, sometimes we front run these levels. Sometimes we do. It's way too early to say that that was the rejection, but I'm just telling you what I'm personally doing in this market. And that also reminds me, guys, please remember that nothing that I share on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. You can read the full disclaimer in the description down below. Tons of bonuses. You guys know the deal. You can earn up to 50K on Bluffin, withdrawable bonuses if you sign up with the second link in my description down below. It's where I trade most of the time. And in this stream, if you guys stay tuned, I will try to enter another live trade on the stream. But I did make a commitment to you. The goal for me is to try to make this a 5-hour live stream if possible. Sounds crazy, but like I said, I want to build up a tolerance to do longer live streams because I think that I can help a lot of you out. Grigor, yeah, that's actually true. 95K. Let me see. Go weekly. Yeah, you're right. All the way up at 95K. I personally don't think that we're going to make it up there. That's just my thoughts. I don't think that we're going to make it up there. I just want Bitcoin to drop as much as possible so I can buy a disgusting amount of altcoins. Guys, be careful with the altcoin talk, man. Jeez. Everyone wants those altcoins still after what happened in the last cycle. Guys, altcoins are good when we are in QE, quantitative easing. Otherwise, I mean, if you guys want to take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we can. I used to talk about this all the time, and some of you guys would get annoyed about it, but look at this, guys. Look at this. We'll go weekly for Bitcoin dominance. We drew this path. It's like, I don't know. Sup, dude? You're doing well. Can we talk about Canadian accent? Haha. I get made fun of for saying about in that way. Sound is fine. Guys, can you confirm if the stream is smooth, sound is fine, everything is okay? I just want to make sure before I continue. They're called shitcoins. What about bearish case? Da Vinci, I don't know if you just joined the stream, but I would highly recommend you scroll back. I'll probably talk about the bearish case again at some point, or whatever, I'll do it now. The bearish case is that we've already rejected and the top is in, to put it simply. Because if we take a look at, and again, I don't just want to use 2022 as the core example, but it is a very rejected before the 200-day moving average, and then that was all she wrote. Guys, the rejection afterwards is severe. So you get a big pump. This is 46% from the high down to the bear market low. And this takes a while to play out. Like, we're talking about over half a year. That's a 63% drop in Bitcoin. Not saying it's going to happen. What I am saying is it's something that you need to be aware of, because in bear markets, we get relief rallies. And I still think that what we're seeing is a relief rally. It frustrates people, I know, but I can't I can't pivot quite yet. And I'm already seeing a lot of guys that were bearish, as I was, starting to pivot, saying, okay, I think we're back. I think we're back. And that's, you know, bear markets have a way of sucking people in. And you can be bearish, and then all of a sudden you get a 40% rally, and it's like, oh, are we back? But history would suggest that this is a bear market relief rally. Yeah, ton serve, 100%. Sometimes those positions get front ran, man. Like it's annoying, but sometimes that's just the case. But again, this zone is just wow. Like it's almost too good of a shorting zone. And sometimes the market makers, you know, what could potentially happen here is, you know, we get a bounce, we drop lower, and people continue to long, expecting that, no, we're going to hit 83K, then I will short. And then what potentially happens is we just drop. And that's why I want to be positioned either way. If we go higher, I'm adding to my short. But if we remain like this, I'm happy with my exposure. Well, I wanted to talk about this. This went above, oh, they're buying some Bitcoin. Today's volume, because I think they hit it, right? Am I tripping? I saw that it went above 100 at one point. It just grazed par here for Saylor to be able to buy some more Bitcoin. Because like today, he actually bought some with this product. But again, I'm not so sure how much confidence Saylor has in the market. Or sorry, how much confidence investors have in Saylor at this point, given what he said. Like this kind of stuff is just like, we talked about it on the last live, in my last video. He comes out and says we're probably going to sell some Bitcoin to pay dividend. And that's fine. If you buy Bitcoin if you buy Bitcoin low and you sell it high and you can accumulate more Bitcoin, that's always great. But he's been the advocate for never sell your Bitcoin. And now all of a sudden this narrative starts changing. I don't know, guys. What drives the 100 for Saylor? It's people effectively buying the stock to get this yield. They've been promoting it like crazy. Buy Bitcoin, don't sell the Bitcoin. We can buy more Bitcoin than they can sell. Never sell your Bitcoin. Sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. So, very, very clear narrative here, right? Now, if we take a look at Saylor, look what he says. I think this is today. Stretch is a passenger jet. Bitcoin is a fighter jet. MicroStrategy is a rocket ship. You can see his order of priority here. MSTR is the be-all, end-all for Saylor. And now that he wants to be included within the stock market, he has to answer to investors. And it's not as simple as him just spewing a bunch of, I don't want to say nonsense on social media, for lack of a better term, but saying he's never going to sell Bitcoin, and then ultimately he comes out saying he will at some point. Buy more Bitcoin than you sell. A little bit different than what he used to say. Absolutely, guys. Video channel 1405. Can you do a live trade if there's a good signal? Absolutely. Guys, make sure to destroy that like button. I will try to do a live trade. Last live stream, I did a live trade. And it worked out well. took some profits, then got stopped out at break even, I will absolutely do a live trade if I see the opportunity to do so. And we'll talk about it on the lower time frames and things like that. But I just want to give you an overview to kick off the stream. We've been at it for around 30 minutes. We're going to be here for 10 times that amount. And I'm really curious to see. I'm actually currently at my mom's place filming this content because I'm visiting, and I have people upstairs that will be grabbing me a coffee and things like that to to be able to help me out and be able to stay on the stream for that long. Crypto Clarity Act passing would trigger the next bull market. I mean, it's possible, but maybe that passes right near those bear market bottoms, and then we're off to the races. Similar to what happened with the ETFs. I think that's a pretty valid thing. That would be very nice, to be honest. Perfect timing. Maybe it does trigger it. I'm gonna mute my mic from time to time because I've also got some food to eat. I have some pastries, a croissant and a scone, and then I'll eat my protein later. Okay. Quick note, guys. I'm reading some comments about like trading and stuff. How do you trade and move stuff to break even? So let's say you're in a trade, you longed Bitcoin, and you want to protect your position. Down below, you can actually adjust your take profit and stop loss. So what you do here is you would click this, and then you would put your stop loss to your entry price. That's only if you want to move your stop to break even. So then if the price goes down and you're longing Bitcoin, you basically don't lose any money. I like to cover the fees because obviously to enter these trades you get fees, but yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, but maybe I need to produce a tutorial regarding like trade management and things like that. What's up, man? Explorer, what is up, man? Over 500 likes. It's optimistic. I've never gotten that many likes on a live stream, but we'll try it. Smash it, legends. Smash it. We are almost a fifth away from the objective. Tutorial needs to include the RSI in my opinion. Guys, I have to be honest. I only look at the RSI maybe like on the weekly time frame. It helps, but it's nothing like I don't use it from my trading perspective. What do you expect the bounce to be from potential long? I feel like the trades is not a good trade if you haven't broken even. That's not accurate at all, guys. Not accurate at all. Because there's a lot of times where moving your stop to break even is not the strategy because price can wick to break even and then it'll move in the direction that you were hoping it would move. And then all of a sudden you're out of the position and you were right about the trade. So I'm very selective about when I move my stop to break even. Anyone know what tools I can use to have the comments displayed? I think that could be fun for everyone to be able to see the comments popping up. more entertaining. Exactly. Sometimes you got to let it run. Like button smashed. Nico Soupy, the legend. 118, guys, we're killing it. We're killing it. We are on track. We're going to hit that 500 with your help. I don't expect all of you to stay for 5 hours. The purpose of staying for that long is because the longer you stay, the more exposure YouTube gets you. So I'll try it out and see what I can do. I will take bathroom breaks as well. Can you give us a tutorial about adding funds to a short that's already going? I mean, I could show you right here. Literally, if I go markets, I can add to my short already. So like, you can see I'm in a Bitcoin short, right? And if I want more exposure, well, I can just add to it. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but you go here and then you would click short and it adds to your existing position. All right, let's see. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Rick Ty, hello, how are you, man? So, the thing with funding rates is you saw probably on Twitter a lot of people talking about the fact that the funding rates have been negative for a while, and therefore there's going to be a massive short squeeze. And just because the funding rates are negative, we will absolutely skyrocket. However, in a bull market, in a sustained uptrend with bullish market structure, I'm not just talking about what happened over the course of the past few weeks. I'm talking about this. The funding rate remains positive. Everyone's trying to long. And yes, there are some aggressive flushes down, slow bleeds down. But for the most part, people are trying to long these dips. People continue to long even when we have these massive breakouts, which is totally fine. But the funding rates in general remain positive. Doesn't mean that we have to just absolutely dump. There's some flushes to kind of reset those funding rates. In a downtrend, the funding rates can remain negative. And so I don't use it that much for my analysis. It's something for you to consider. If the funding rates go into deep negative territory, then maybe it could suggest that we get a little bit of a squeeze. But for the most part, it's not a key factor in my analysis. Just for you to understand. Like, I think recently the funding rates may have flipped positive because people are trying to catch this lower time frame correction. And so what this effectively means is we can end up just flushing the longs out. Funding rate can go back to negative, and we keep on getting some pumps, but the market structure still remains bearish with the funding being negative. I hope that makes sense. Any alts you're looking at? I'm actually looking. You guys are gonna hate me. Last time I talked about shorting an altcoin, you guys did not like the fact that I was bearish on one of your favorite altcoins, Tau. I shorted the crap out of Tau. I made like 150K, got stopped at a break even afterwards. The next one I'm considering is actually... Yes, I know. I am eyeing this. I am eyeing this for a short. This isn't a call to just short this now. This is bullish market structure. At least over the past couple weeks. But it's highly likely that I will be shorting ZEC. Highly likely. I just have not decided when I'd like to enter yet. Blast XW. I'm not sure why your comment got removed from the stream. I need to check out my settings, but I read it. Just tell them they're not talking about their altcoins, of course. Yeah, of course. I don't know. Guys, I got the same kind of thing. Gain, I don't know how to pronounce you, but the most recent comment. Shorting ZEC would be ballsy. It would be, but it wouldn't. Because remember how bullish everyone was on Tau, and then I came on my channel and said, hey guys, I shorted Tau. And the comments were like, what do you mean you shorted Tau? Are you kidding me? It's gonna keep on going. And then we dumped like over 50%. And yeah, there was some FUD with what happened, but the market structure suggested that we would have a move to the downside. Otherwise, I wouldn't have entered the trade. Sometimes you get a little bit of help, and that one was a really, really solid one. That was shared in my group as well, guys. If you want to know what trades I'm taking, when I'm taking them, not just the smaller trades that I take on stream, you do have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. The chart does look different to Tau. That's why I said I'm eyeing a short. I'm not entering prematurely. I want to wait and see how things play out. Do you ever use fib extensions? Absolutely. Let's talk about it. Guys, where are my drawings? Hello? What is this? There they are. Okay, so I talked about my confluence zone. If Bitcoin is to go back up there, we have the point of control of this tariff capitulation low range, which is found right at around 84K. That is found between the anchored VWAP from all-time high to where we are and the 200-day moving average, which we just about tapped into. And you asked about fib? Well, let me show you something. This is why it's such a pivotal level in the market. Everything lines up. It's almost too perfect, which is why I'm kind of thinking they won't give it. But from this pivot high to the low, what do you notice? Where is the golden pocket found? Check it out. Right in between this zone. Like this, you know when I always talk about confluence in my trades? This is like, to me at least, such a high probability setup, especially if we consider how the market historically behaves in bear markets with these relief rallies. And that's why I'm a little bit skeptical on if we're even going to make it there. So I'm already in my short and I'm looking to add. I trimmed some off of the short as well, just because I want to be able to add with size if we go higher. But I don't know, guys. It's such a high confluence zone between 83 and 86K. I think you need to adjust your anchored VWAP. It's much lower than 85K. It's 84.5K on my chart. I can try to do this again. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, it's like 85. If I take, because I just took it from the weekly candle. Obviously, it's more important to be super precise. But like I said, between 83 and 86K is such a big zone. Okay, we're back above 80K. Time to get excited? And on the lower time frames, we really want to reclaim, like if you're bullish, you want to reclaim $80,600. Maybe today I'll end up taking a long on the stream. Let's see. Let's see. What about a nasty front running and the last top at... That's what I'm saying, Rick Ty. There's actually a chance that that's the case. There's a non-negligible chance that that's the case. Let me take you through the 2022 price action as well, because once we reclaimed the bull market support band, you'll notice that we did, yes, we rejected right before hitting the 200-day moving average. But, and it's a key thing, as soon as we tapped back into the bull market support band, check this out, we got another bounce up again. And then we ended up bleeding lower. And then after losing the bull market support band again, that was over. So I explained it in my community, but I might actually look for a potential long at the bull market support band to play a potential bounce, because sometimes, this is 2022, right? If we go to this one, Bitstamp. If we go to let's take a look at, let's go to 2018. That's because we don't often talk about this one, but let's talk about it. Again, April, May time zone, similar price action. Look at this, guys. What rally was this from the lows? Wow, 55% rally. So over the years, these relief rallies are getting a little bit smaller. At least that's what I'm observing. broke above the bull market support band, made it up to that just under, again, that 200-day moving average right here, dropped back into the bull market support band, and then another move higher, and this effectively swept the highs before moving lower. So there's ways that this can play out where we potentially sweep the high, or we potentially make a lower high as seen in 2022. We just have to be ready for all scenarios. But my thing here is I would look for a potential long at around that zone. I find it hard to believe that we would just like nuke. There's bounces along the way always. And right now, the trend is still up, recently at least. Oops. We pump help. Help? What do you mean help? We pumped looks solid. For me, I want to see us reclaim 80.6, sorry. You lack sleep, buddy. No, I don't. I don't know if it's just the lighting or if it's because I'm doing the stream in the morning. I promise you guys, I am well rested. Ever since my first live stream, it feels like we haven't gotten any kind of like crazy price action. My first live stream, Bitcoin was nuking, and it was great to cover. But now it feels like most live streams is just like choppy price action. There's a chance that we stay here for a bit. Look for the higher time frame candle closes as well. We'll try to do a bit of scalps on the lower time frames, but I'm a swing trader. Please remember that. Yusuf Geo, great question. Do you ever watch other crypto influencer chart analysts to influence your own decisions? No. So I used to when I started trading crypto, but then I realized that it's more important to make your own decisions. And there's actually one of you guys, I'm not sure if he's watching right now, that messaged me saying that he wants to start making his own decisions and not getting influenced by anyone in the market. And that includes myself, which is valid. That's probably the best way to do it in the long term, I would say. I don't get influenced by anyone really. I just look at the market structure, the liquidity, my high time frame confluence zones, and that's what gives me the confidence to enter some of my swing positions. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. Most of the time we're winning, so otherwise I wouldn't be here. So that's all I can really say. I try not to let anyone else influence my decisions when it comes to trading. Justin Richard, bro, I love your lives. The French photographer. It's important to learn from your own mistakes and emotions. Absolutely, 100%. $150. Let's go, legends. I want to hear you eat ASMR. Absolutely not. Some of you guys are funny. Yeah, there's no, right now, there's no edge for me here. There is a little zone that we can consider if we go on the daily time frame, which I think is going to be pretty important. So I mentioned $80,600 at the start of this stream. It's the level I introed with my last YouTube video. Bottom of the previous range. Reclaiming this would suggest that maybe we get that squeeze up. However, the other key zone, if I remove the volume profile, is right at where we're technically bouncing. So this little cluster over here is significant for Bitcoin. Right here. No, we're not quite there yet. I mean, if we take the wicks, maybe we look at the wicks. Well, there you go. This is significant. The bulls do not want to lose this level. Like with some candle closes below, not what you want to see if you're bullish. I read the charts and then look for validation from influencers. Look, it's okay to watch crypto content. It's fine, but just I think that the best way and the way to get the most value out of it is to already have your kind of higher time frame analysis done before you watch the YouTube videos. And then you can see whether or not you agree or disagree with it. One of the most important things that you can do as an individual is to ensure that you're able to make your own decisions in this market. And you're not just blindly copying people, myself included. Thanks for muting while you eat and drink. Absolutely. I just think it's rude to eat on a live stream. I think drinking, I'm a little bit more quiet, so I don't have to necessarily mute, but it's like, boo. I'm watching this like a hawk. I'm watching Bitcoin like a hawk. I hear you drinking. Oops. Guys, remember, if you want to trade the market and see which trades I'm taking on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis, it's free. You have the first link in the description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram. You'll be able to join that group. And the only requirement is that you've signed up with any of these links down below. You know my go-to is Bluffin'. So I like how there's people jumping into longs here, to be honest. From a liquidity perspective, from a higher time frame perspective. Have you ever considered converting your strategy into a trading bot instead of manual execution? I've considered it, but I just don't think it's the... I prefer manual execution. I really, really do. I've never been one for trading bots, and believe me, I like to think that I'm well... I like to think that I make the required efforts to be at the forefront of things like AI and these kinds of things. I use it in my personal life. But when it comes to trading specifically, I like to do manual execution. As long as you can manage your emotions, there's no need to have a bot. And this is an interesting chart that we didn't discuss yet on the stream. Stablecoin dominance. I think that this thing's gonna rip higher. And this is not good for Bitcoin or crypto. That's just those are my thoughts. When will the US buy Bitcoin massively? When will the US buy Bitcoin massively? I don't know. Let me just... Here. Let me call my friend, President Donald Trump, and maybe he'll be able to give me an answer to that question. No clue, man. Absolutely no clue. I know why you're looking so tired. It's because of the music. You might be right. The music is pretty chill. I have yet to find a really good non-copyright tune that I could play for several hours. Make your own music. What about ETH, bro? ETH looks like shit. Excuse my language. But remember how I talked about Bitcoin being above its bull market support band into its 200-day simple moving average? Well, ETH's 200-day simple moving average is below 2,700. And we're getting rejected at the bull market support band. This contributes to Bitcoin dominance moving higher, because assets like ETH just continue to bleed to Bitcoin. So ETH does not look great. All things considered, like it's just doesn't look great. Getting rejected at the bull market support band. For the sweeps on when it comes to sweeps, I like to draw them on the 15-minute chart. Or sorry, I'll draw the levels themselves 1 hour, 4 hour charts, and if it's a very significant level, then I'll look for entries on the 15-minute, maybe even 5-minute time frame. That's only for sweeps though. All right, guys, let's change the music. Right. Show you guys the charts while I do this. Okay, it's a little bit better. Prediction, Bitcoin will skyrocket and then dump on Iran. Give me something. Man. It's all like... Sorry, guys. If you know of some very good non-stop hip-hop, no copyright. Timing wise, high probability to get another high above today's high. Minimum high should be, yeah, I'm not shorting again for now. That's valid. Valid. Protein shake. Dun, dun. I do think that there's a high probability that May could be a red month for Bitcoin. Guys, we're 8 days into May. I do think so. How do you spend your days as a trader? That is a great question, and I'd love to talk about it. I used to immediately look at the price action. If you're an inexperienced trader, that's okay. When I started trading, I did that immediately. Now, though, I'm on this whole mindfulness endeavor. One sec. My mom is walking in the background while I'm live streaming. That's great. So now what I try to do is I try to get some sunlight, wake up, go for a walk, and then I check the markets probably around an hour after I wake up. And it really depends on where I'm located. If I'm in Canada, then markets open at 9:30. However, if I'm in Dubai, which is where I'm normally located, I have a lot more leeway with my mornings, and so I can just be a lot more chill in the morning, get my exercise out of the way, these kinds of things. Then I look for opportunities. But here's the thing, as a swing trader, most of the time I'm taking somewhere between 2 and 5 trades a month, most of the time. Day trading is a whole different thing. This is interesting price action for Bitcoin. I usually don't look at crypto till after a couple hours. J Tinman, that's absolutely valid. That's what I would recommend most people do. But I know it's difficult, especially if you're just getting into trading, because you have to be basically obsessed with the price action. I'm at a point where I'm no longer obsessed with it. I just look for valid opportunities and I just highlight them in advance, and I enter when I see the opportunity to do so. Meditation trader. Usually, Bitcoin tends to bottom out somewhere between its balanced price and its realized price. The Bitcoin balanced price at this point is actually below 40K, and the realized price is around 54K. So, in my opinion, if history is to repeat, we will be seeing Bitcoin back below $60,000. This is just my opinion, of course. Can we pump more in the meantime? Yeah, absolutely. But I am mentally preparing myself to buy when everyone has given up on crypto. Wait. Tell us more about your obsessed into non-obsessed shift. First time I hear such thing and sounds so interesting. Well, it's because when you first start, you're obsessed in the sense of you feel as if you're always going to miss an opportunity. And I think that that's a crucial mistake, because there's unlimited opportunities in the market. Do you just have to be patient for some of them? Yeah, of course. But I effectively transitioned into a less obsessive state when it came to trading, simply through time and simply through proper risk management. And what I mean by proper risk management is a lot of people will jump into trades with too much capital, and therefore you feel even more compelled to just always check the charts, always check the charts. You're always like on edge, and it's not a good feeling. Like it's a stressor in your life when you do it that way. And I know it's boring advice to say like use proper risk management, because when I started, to be perfectly clear, I was probably not following the guidelines that I'm advocating for today. But over time, you realize that one, you can be successful using less capital that it's just It's crazy. You don't want that. This is interesting price action though. 1 second. This would be a good 1 hour candle close. Guys, 80,600. You want to see us confirm above that level if you're bullish. How old are you? I'll let you guys guess how old I am. I've been trading crypto for over just under a decade now. Yeah, exactly. I'm 9. Matsur is 125 years old, but he does a lot of yoga. Correct? I'm actually 140, but the yoga part is correct. Not a day older than 65. True. How are we doing on the likes, legends? Guys, I will be taking a live trade. I will do my best to do that. Last stream we did it. It was a great trade on the lower time frames. This time around, I want to do it again, but when we're in this range, it doesn't make for a great opportunity, really. In the meantime, though, to do that, last stream we did it. Destroy the like button. Let's get to 200 likes. We are well on our way. Let's push, let's push, let's push. Let's get to 200 likes. And we're going to get to 500 this stream. That's the goal. I often spoke about these German YouTubers that are somehow like doing 7 to 10 hour live streams. And I want to get to that point, but I have a strong feeling that some of them are using substances that I don't want to use. Because I remember last live stream, the last 3 hour live stream, 3.5 hour live stream that I did, at the 2 hour mark, I was like, guys, whew, I am sleepy. But let's see. Right now, we had decent price action entering the stream. This is like typical New York Open kind of price action where you get a little bit of volatility, but now we're just back within the exact same range. The only trade, some of you guys were asking about Tau, just to repeat myself, I made around 150K on that trade, got stopped out at break even, back on the way up because Tau had a nice rally, which is totally fine. Happy with the profits on that trade. And that was also shared in my group. If you want to see how I am personally trading the market, you know where to find me. DM me CBM on Telegram to join my group. But first, just sign up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below. Bluffin is my go-to. I also really like 2bit and BTCC. So whatever you want, I have as an option probably. How do you take... If my job was crypto, I would live or even journal my thoughts just to articulate them out loud. What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, I journal, but I have to be honest, I'm less disciplined about journaling my crypto trades as I was previously to get me to this point. Now I feel like I'm a lot more chill. I want to help out everyone as much as possible. That's why I have this YouTube channel, and I've discussed this at length. But I also like helping, not to sound like this, but people that are genuinely trading with a little bit more capital. I also want to help these guys because I've come in contact with a lot of people that have high earning incomes, and they want to essentially find ways to expand this through trading without the stressors of like day trading. And so I'm trying to also help these kinds of people within my community as well. So it's a bit of a mix, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep producing content, and I'll keep being here for you, trying to guide you through the market cycles. Always going to tell you what I think could be happening in the market. Recently on this rally, when I came out and I was a little bit more bearish still, the comments were very bullish, and that's usually a positive sign. I think Grigor, you mentioned this as well, looking at one of my latest videos, saying something like, the comments are starting to look pretty bullish. Does this mean a reversal is to come? And without a doubt, we got a little bit of a pullback. Now we see how far this pullback can go. Are we going to get another squeeze to the upside? Are we going to hit our key levels? The 200-day moving average is now found at around $83,000. Then we have the 84K point of control of the tariff capitulation low range. Then we have the anchored VWAP from all-time high to where we are today at around 85K. So 83 to 85K, 86K is like giga shorting zone for me at least. Until then, I hold my trade and I sit still. Did you ever trade for a prop firm? No, I did not. Do you think stocks will crash soon? Guys, it's very, very difficult to talk about whether stocks will crash or not. When stocks were around this zone, I was bearish on stocks. I thought that stocks could actually have a correction. And we did have a correction, pretty significant one, but then we just rallied to all-time highs, right? And if stocks, like if this thing just keeps on going, naturally this should roll over to Bitcoin. But the point that I was trying to make in some of my other videos is, given the extent of the stock market rally and how long I've been in the crypto space, I would have expected Bitcoin to actually rally more. And so in my opinion, it's not necessarily a game of catch up, but rather Bitcoin being kind of weak against the stock market in a midterm year. I have highlighted a couple of things. Year-to-date ROI here. If we take a look at the midterm years for Bitcoin, and then we take a look at 2026, we're a little bit overextended. We are a little bit overextended from one standard deviation away from the middle here. So this is something that suggests to me that we can get a pullback, or maybe this time really is different. But usually, if we are to top out, it's from around this zone. But we have to see how the rest of the world reacts. Like, the stock market goes up, then Bitcoin can continue to go up. You won't hear me saying otherwise. Did you just say you think Bitcoin is likely to pump to 83, 85K? No, I did not just say that. I said that number one, I am already in a Bitcoin short shared within my community. I said that number two, if Bitcoin is to pump up to this zone and we get price action that looks like it could retrace, this would be a giga shorting zone from my own personal perspective. That being said, at the beginning of the stream, we also talked about the fact that a lot of people are looking at this zone. It's a massive confluence zone. As I said, previous point of control from the tariff capitulation lows back in 2025. Then we have the 200-day moving average. Then we have the anchored VWAP from all-time high. Then if we take a look at the fib, the golden pocket is right around that zone as well. So I think a lot of people are looking at this zone, and I think that there's also a chance that maybe we don't even get to that zone because everyone is looking at it. Like we discussed from back in 2022, what effectively happened was we were just about to tap into that 200-day moving average, and we didn't tap into it, came within inches like we did today, and then we just dropped massively. So to each their own. I'm not going to tell you what you should do in this market. I'm just telling you what I'm personally doing. And you can see it just looks so similar. So similar. The rally in 2022 was actually even more than what we saw today. Oops. Guys, I'm sorry, no live trades in this range for me at least. Give me a sweep of the highs for a potential short. Give me a sweep of the lows for a potential long. Otherwise, is Sailor buying? So today he bought one croissant. There's nothing for me to trade here. Zek is nuts. Nice. I'm holding a big short right now. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure you have your invalidations because I don't want to see anyone getting wrecked. That's one thing that was very difficult when I first started sharing my own trades. It's bad enough that if I lose a trade, I lose money. But if I lose a trade and other people start blaming me because I said something would happen and it didn't happen, I mean, I don't need that kind of pressure. Like I'm already losing my own money if I lose a trade. So I don't necessarily need someone to tell me what I already know. J Beers, 100%. And that's welcome to crypto. You said this would happen and it didn't happen. Therefore, you're the worst human on the planet. But we talked about this in another stream. I'm getting better at dealing with the negativity sometimes. There's no in-betweens. It's like either you get a call right and everyone's made money because they agreed with the analysis, or you get a call wrong and everyone's pissed. But I do appreciate all of you supporting the channel. I shorted my net worth on Tau at 303. Giga Chad move. It's on me. Yikes. Yes, I do consider fundamentals. Imagine the guys who shield memes. Their comments are very brutal. They should be brutal. I remember, we talked about this, I think, a few streams ago. I don't know if you guys remember the meme chill guy. I did over a 10x with that overnight. I was just getting started with my YouTube channel and I said, guys, I found a meme. I think it's going to perform well. And then I woke up in the morning and yeah, fair to say I was very, very happy because I went in with size. And it was great. You hear these great stories, but for every great story like that, we have to consider the people that have lost tons of money speculating on absolute nonsense. Because let's be real, it is absolute nonsense. You have people like Murad, who says that SPX 6900 is going to flip the stock market. Believe in something, some absolute nonsense like that. Imagine thinking that that's actually a possibility. Just, yeah, insane. Insane. But it's okay. This whole flush, this whole cycle, people struggling, like, I think this is a way to flush out all of the bullshit from the industry, and we're going to come back even stronger. And I have to say this on camera. I have to say this on camera. I cannot wait to be very bullish. For now, though, I can't justify being bullish here. My apologies. Whew. Hey, came from Altcoin Daily. Awesome. I appreciate you, Bitcoin Bro 82. Bless you, bless you. Thank you. Ken William, could you talk a bit about Bitcoin Census and Mindpillar and how you're affiliated to them? I generally like your take on the market more because you simplify things nicely. Do you find value from them? Absolutely, I do. Okay, so yeah, no worries. I could talk about that. So basically, Mindpillar / Bitcoin Census is with Andy and Devolt. I'm very, very close with these guys. And what we're currently doing is we're trying to build out tools that everyone can use to be able to trade the market and navigate adequately. I want to create this whole like analytics, tools, news, community, like a bunch of things on the Mindpillar interface, and we're building that out together. So I haven't really talked about it that much. By the way, all of the things that you're seeing, all the charts, trading, potential trading, analytics, and things like that we're building out, if you're in my community, you will get access to this first for free before anyone else. So I just want to make you aware of this. But we're building out tools like this. And for example, terminal price, balance price, I can see this here. And we're working together to try to provide the best possible tools in the crypto industry, not just from like a macro perspective, but also from a shorter term trading perspective as well. Now, Andy and Devolt, their overall analysis in the market is a little bit different in the sense of they're all often looking for like shorter time frame moves, but I am more of a swing trader. And so that's probably why I come across as if I'm simplifying things a little bit more. And it's because one of my mottos is to make things as simple as possible. There's a lot of complexities that go behind the analysis itself, but when I come on camera, I try to think, okay, if I can get people to watch this video and they can only get one thing out of the video, what is it that they can get? And Andy and Devolt will often flip, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they see shorter term opportunities and they make money in both directions as well. So I guess the main difference is I am more of a swing trader. These legends, Andy and Devolt, tend to enter shorter time frame positions, but they can turn into swing trades as well. So to each their own. I have a lot of people that have said, I prefer Elliott wave theory and these kinds of things, and that's totally fine. But we are building this interface together, and I'm very, very excited to be able to start showing content with this interface. It's gonna be absolutely great. And a reminder, if you want access to this for free or any of my trades and stuff, it's gonna be in my group. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join my group. I say it's free because you're trading with your own capital. So the way that it works is if you sign up with any of these links down below and you start trading on there, you essentially get access to the group. These are my own affiliate links, and I have access and affiliate disclosure, disclaimer in the description down below if you want to read that. Yeah, so let's take a look at the price action. Trying to hold above 80K. What were you doing before crypto? Social media marketing. I talked about this before, but I have a football TikTok account that has over 200,000 followers. Football as in soccer, if you are American. And I used to do stuff like that. I had brand deals and things like that, but I fell in love with the markets and fell in love with crypto. Yo, came from the Sidemen. Thank you, bro. Came from the Sidemen. Sick. I agree, man. We just need a reset so everyone can be standing on their own 2 feet again. Yeah, 100%. So the reset of this industry, the thing is, it can take longer than most people think. I would imagine that if Bitcoin does break below 60K again, there's going to be some of you that have been watching the channel and hopefully have guided adequately that will see it as a massive opportunity. But then there's going to be other people that will probably just completely give up on crypto and never come back. But they'll come back when Bitcoin is at 100K. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Don't be exit liquidity. Have you ever tried the wave trend indicator? I have no clue what the wave trend indicator is. Altcoin Daily, that's where I found you also. Absolute legend. Yeah, I did a collab with Altcoin Daily. So when the price action is messy like this, because some would suggest, oh, these 2 1-hour candles are very bearish. Oh, look, bullish, we're so back. But we're actually just in the exact same range. What I typically recommend is to just zoom out. How are we looking? Right now, it looks like Bitcoin wants to hold on to a key level. And that level is $79,400. Why is this level significant, you might ask? Well, this is where we formed basically equal highs before Bitcoin rejected down to sub 75,000, sorry. So if Bitcoin manages to hold above this pivot here, this is bullish. That would suggest that maybe we're off to the races and it's just another higher low. So let's see. Right now, it looks like we're trying to hold. We had 2 wicks there, a nice reaction. But if we start getting, a 4-hour candle close below here, below this pivot, I think that we could see continuation to the downside. Keep it simple. 90K soon, let's go. You've been leaving that comment on my videos. Let's see if we get 90K. Rick Ty, messy price action is usually corrective. Correct. What's your opinion on the utility of XRP? Don't even get me started. Some of you will hate this because I have been publicly bearish on altcoins for a very long time. I think XRP is unfortunately a centralized shitcoin. Sorry, guys. This is a key pivot here. But see what I mean when it comes to zooming out? I had us on the lower time frames, and now when you see this, this is clearly bullish market structure on these 4-hour time frame. Start losing this level, then we can start talking about the retest of the bull market support band, which is found between 78.4K down to approximately 76.6K. This could be a potential bounce zone, as we saw in the previous cycles, coming very close to that 200-day moving average, dumping to the bull market support band, finding support here, getting a bounce back up, whether it's a lower high or a higher high, and then dropping further. That's the game plan. What's your thought on Polkadot? Price seems extremely low. Guys, unfortunately, just because the price of a crypto is low, it doesn't mean it's a good buy. Let me show you something. If you want to know if a crypto is good, gosh, I need to change my keyboard setting. One moment. Just do this. Sorry, my keyboard is very far away, so I'm kind of stretching to write this. What does this chart tell you? And this is going to be my response for almost every single altcoin. This is Polkadot against Bitcoin. Literally, since 2021, it has been in a massive downtrend against Bitcoin. So from an investment standpoint, it does not make sense to have any capital allocated into DOT if Bitcoin is simply going to outperform it. You're taking on more risk because it's an altcoin, and you're getting less reward. Always measure your altcoins against Bitcoin from an investment standpoint. This isn't financial advice. It's what I personally do. And to me, I mean, why would I be speculating on this? That looks absolutely horrible. Sorry, I won't talk about altcoins too much, but like we're down 98% against Bitcoin, which means if in the same period of time you would have held Bitcoin, you would have significantly outperformed DOT. Sorry, not a hater, just sharing facts. Let's get back to this. Always do that with your alts. Measure against Bitcoin. If you're not getting a better return than Bitcoin, then you effectively wasted your time and money. You better be getting better returns than Bitcoin on an alt. Otherwise, you're more stressed about it, you're taking on more risk, and you're earning less. A time-lapse King 3D. I'm sorry to be another. You're talking, would you even consider it? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter about the utility, the fundamentals, the this, the that. If it's bleeding against Bitcoin, you're taking on more risk for less return. Silly. That's why you don't always want to look at the US dollar valuation of a coin. You want to measure it against Bitcoin. Always. Would you change your stance if Bitcoin has daily closing above 95K? Yeah, sure. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 50 minutes. I do not know how these guys do it for 5, 6 hours, but we will try to do a 5-hour one. Guys, I promise I'm not a doomer. I promise I'm blunt, but I'm not a doomer. I believe in Bitcoin in the long term, and I will be so giga bullish. My dream scenario here is if Bitcoin drops significantly and everyone gives up on crypto and Bitcoin is sitting like below 60K, below even maybe 50K, and I'm just bullish for like 3 months, because over the past 3 months, or since the top basically, I've been bearish. My dream is that we just run it back up after creating new lows this year, and All of you guys that have took the time to watch my content to stay up to date with the channel benefited from that analysis, because it's going to be a very higher time frame analysis, as I always do. And we're going to be off to the races, and we're all just going to win together. That's what I'm going for. But I have to also mention, guys, that I still hold some spot Bitcoin. I actually sold some spot Bitcoin back when we went above 80K, which is recently. Corwin, yes, that's one part of the analysis. My short position, I'm currently up. I currently realized, if you just came to the stream, I realized $300,000 on this short trade. I added to my trade like a long time ago, still holding. I actually reduced my position yesterday when we swept these lows, because I want to be able to add more to my short if we are to go higher. That's my own strategy. You don't have to copy me. Please don't, actually. But my goal with this trade is, by the end of it all, I can net 500K. If I can net 500K from this trade, and maybe we get even more favorable price action, and I can net $1 million publicly, I think that that'll go a long way for the channel. But it's going to take time, because I'm not just going all into the position. You know what I mean? I'm risking at most 5% of my trading portfolio to make these profits. So it's with proper risk management as well. That's the goal. Let's run it up to $500,000 and maybe even $1 million if I can do it with favorable price action. For Zcash, I'm gonna share, guys. If I decide to enter any new trades in this market, you know where to find me. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram. You'll be able to join that group. It is free because you're trading with your own capital. Let's say you have, and also if you're trading with a little bit more capital, I do tend to prioritize you in the sense of I put you in a Telegram folder where I answer to your queries a little bit more often than I would with anyone else. When I first started my community here, I was answering everyone, sending voice messages to everyone and doing my best. But now the community's grown so much that it's just impossible to give everyone personalized attention. That's what the live streams are for, but also the real like one-to-one is if you're trading with a significant amount of capital. Chop, 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 Bitcoin. Chop, chop, chop. Jan Kiefer, what's your entry target for Zcash short? That's going to be shared in my group. I'm not going to talk about it here because one, I haven't entered a trade, and two, I have to see how the price action develops for me to justify entering a trade. Have you heard of the hantavirus? Do you think it could make the market like COVID? I'm not one to predict black swan events. But if it happened, it's just another thing to take advantage of, let's say. But I'm not in the business of calling a global pandemic. I don't talk about the Bitcoin bear flag because I've talked about it like previously, and I feel as if a lot of people are kind of talking about it. I'll leave that for some of the more, I don't want to say newbie guys, but it's not necessary for my analysis. Good morning from Arizona. I have a short at $82,650. Do you suggest to take more profits if we regain $80,600? Guys, please remember that I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do with your capital. I recently shaved a little bit more off of my trade in the event that we are to move higher because I want to add to my existing position. Now, some of you might be saying, well, why don't you just close your entire trade if you think that Bitcoin is going to move higher from here? The reality is no one knows. So this is a swing trade position for me, and I'm happy to add if we go up, and I'm also very happy if Bitcoin dumps from here because I'll have my position, right? Matt, do you feel it is difficult to stay locked into things happening in the US and Canada when you're in Dubai? Jason, absolutely I do. It's one of the many things that I talked about previously. It's tricky to maintain some relationships that you have with friends when you're all the way across the world in a different time zone. So that in particular, friends and family. But when I'm back in Canada, it's always lovely. What if aliens land on Earth tomorrow? If aliens land on Earth tomorrow, I think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. Hey Matsur, what's up? Hello? Trump releasing UFO files seems like a distraction from something bigger to come. When will you consider closing your short position if Bitcoin moves higher? I will share that within my community as always. One thing though, like I said, I am pretty unimpressed with Bitcoin compared to the stock market because the stock market rally was very, very impressive. And if Bitcoin just does, like, this is a weak ass rally, man, compared to what stocks got. Yes, Bitcoin technically rallied more percentage wise, but you would expect that. You would expect that, but at least 2 to 4-fold, not just slightly more. Like it's insignificant. And to me, that exemplifies that Bitcoin is one of the riskier of assets, and therefore, if stocks are to correct, I think that Bitcoin will experience that correction. Don't forget to sell your house and buy Litecoin. Guys, head and shoulder on the 15 minutes. I don't look at head and shoulders on the 15-minute time frame, to be honest. Guys, I found I know this is completely irrelevant to the price action. Actually, I'll show you later when we get... Okay, Bitcoin. Okay. This is what I'm saying. So the 4-hour close is in approximately 24 minutes from now. And this is what we need to pay attention to. If this is just like a massive engulfing and we drop below here, like it's going to look very, very ugly. And I think Bitcoin will nuke. But maybe we get bought up. Maybe we just tap into it and let's see. Let's see, guys. I will try to execute a live trade. How old are you, bro? We already talked about this on the stream, man. I am 125 years old, and I just do a little bit of yoga so I can look younger. Costa 506. We need this 4-hour close below 79.3. We don't need anything. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm happy to look to add to my position higher. Do. At what age did you start trading? Well, I can't tell you that now, can I? Because I haven't revealed my age. And if I said that I started trading crypto just under a decade ago. One thing that was interesting, I was always... Corwin, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. There's no way you're going to last 5 hours. I need you to fuel me. Give me more comments like that. Give me more comments like that. I will last 5 hours. I'm going to ask my girlfriend to bring me a cup of coffee and maybe a couple of snacks. I will have to probably do a bathroom break. What are we at now? We're at 2 hours. Guys, 3 more hours? Easy. Easy. Light work, baby. The only thing is after a live stream like this, it's Friday, right? I feel as if I'm not going to want to socialize or do anything with anyone. Like it's hilarious because after something like this, after the 3-hour one, I get back to my place and I'm just like, oh, I just can't, I can't speak because I'm just so exhausted. But let's see how this 4-hour candle closes. It looks like we're trying to hold the bottom of the range. You're at least UNC status. Matsir, my goat, doing it for the culture. Yes, man, I am doing it for the culture. Oh, Bro, you need a double espresso shot today. Here's the unfortunate thing, Jean de Machine. My protein shake had a double espresso, so running low on fuel. I'm gonna need some more. Like I said, some of these guys, they have to be taking substances because I'm healthy, I exercise all the time, I play sports, I have tons of energy. But 5 hours, 8 hours, 10-hour live streams, crazy. It's funny, to answer Yahi Music, I have so just for context, I think it's fun to share some personal things too as we watch the price action develop. I had a buddy of mine that came to visit me in Dubai, and when he was there, we ripped a lot of FIFA, or I think it's FC 26. And we were both concerned because I used to play that game so much and I was really, really good at it. Like we're talking weekend league, borderline top 100, like really, really, really solid. Then I stopped playing for several years and just getting absolutely destroyed by like 12-year-olds playing the game as I was. So it's like you realize you are a little bit of an unk when you can no longer win competitive FIFA, but then you get back into the groove of things. So naturally we ended up doing well afterwards, but it took a while to get back into the groove of it. Anyways, enough of FIFA talk. I'm a big football guy if you guys didn't know, and tennis. Quick question, legends. I have my analytics like right here on my computer screen, and I also have my monitor right here. I've been seeing every like 3 to 5 minutes or so, it kind of cuts in and out. Is it cutting in and out for you? Is my question. You are young. 5 hours should be nothing for you, and you should go party after the stream. Yeah, I'll take, maybe I will go party. Stream is fine. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Wait, so it's not cutting in and out. That's really good. Really good. How are we doing on likes? We just crossed the 2-hour mark. What are we sitting at? 244. Awesome, guys. Awesome, guys. I love it. I love it. Great stuff. Play some video games, Gregor. Maybe I'll just rip some FIFA in the background while we're trading crypto. That could be fun. When you guys say I'm in my 30s and 40s, is it because of how I look or is it because of how I speak? What will be the catalyst to trigger the next Bitcoin Bro 82? It's FC Bro. Yeah, screw FC. Come on. I know they lost like the rights and stuff like that. FC. Give me a break. It's FIFA. Even to this day, it's FIFA. I don't care. Guys, this is like, I mean, I could have entered a long here. It really depends the range you want to play. I'm more curious about the 4-hour candle close. I have a feeling closes below 79,000, sorry, below $80,000. And then I think we're gonna experience another retest of the lows. And maybe this next 4-hour candle will determine whether we break, whether we get another sweep, and then we just bounce higher. But right now, there's not much clarity. I'm sorry. No trade for me yet. I'll look for one, but nothing from me. What are we saying with? Not there, I guess. Here your stream keeps getting interrupted. Is it my Wi-Fi or it's you? It's probably mine. Sorry, guys. You're well kept, and I can tell you're not 20s. Thanks for the comment. Thoughts on Zcash? I gave my thoughts on Zcash. I'm probably looking for a short at some point. If my overall market thesis is that the market will likely head lower, again, not financial advice, just what I personally think, then it would suggest that the overall market heads lower, and therefore something that's been pumping significantly like Zcash should experience a nice drop. Lift weights or CrossFit? Both. I'm actually going to do a buddy of mine. We spoke about this, and we did a marathon about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. About a year and a half ago, we did a marathon for the first time, and I'm like a big football player, not really a long distance runner. And my time was pretty solid. It was like really, there's a lot of uphill. First marathon ever, I think it was 3 hours and 39 minutes, 3 hours and 39, I think. But now we really want to do a 100 kilometer plus run. So there's one in Canada, 135 kilometers, and I think we're gonna do it. I think we'll be running for almost a day, probably more. That's the plan. What are your thoughts on the recent move on oil? I think that oil can probably remain elevated for a long period, because even after they sort out their issues with the Strait of Hormuz, it takes a while for these things to de-escalate and for oil prices to kind of get back to the ordinary. So I think it'll take a while for it to come back down significantly. What position do you play in football? I'll let you guys guess what position I play in football. $260 likes. Absolute legends. And we're 2 hours in, which means we're on pace to do 500 likes in 5 hours. Goalkeeper. Guys, how are you going to do me like that? Goalkeeper. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. You know, the reason I laugh is because all of the goalkeepers that I know, the best goalkeepers in football that I've played with, they're a little bit loose in the head sometimes. You got to be crazy to be a goalie, or at least they were. There's like maybe a couple of them that were normal, but for the most part, like getting balls shot at you. Yeah, no, I am not a goalkeeper. These talks of end of wars are just deceits. While talking peace, they keep piling arms and soldiers around Iran. It is most likely a massive war will start soon. It is possible, man. It is possible. It is very, very possible. All right. Double ALAZZAWE. CDM. Got it right. I am usually either a flat center mid or a CDM, but with the freedom to go, as we like to call it. So what this means is I like to make those overlapping runs, and I like to take a lot of long shots. That is my main position. Harry Maguire. No. I am a Man U fan, though. All things considered, happy with how we placed this year. Open interest. Okay. I think we've had some fun chats, and maybe we'll get into it a little bit more. It can't just be charts for a 5-hour live stream. It's borderline impossible. But one thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention when it comes to the overall analysis of this market is the open interest has been really getting a nice move to the upside here. And in bear markets, usually you see open interest start increasing as price increases, only to fade lower afterwards. I also want to just give you a quick update on the higher time frame analysis from my perspective. The weekly candle right now looks very, very similar to the one that occurred at $97,000 or $98,000, which is where I shorted Bitcoin, right at the anchored VWAP from all-time high, right at the bull market support band. If we close the week below this pivot, like 79.4, I think that we could have a massive drop in the coming weeks. However, if we start to push up here, because there's still over 2 days left for this weekly candle, anything can happen, guys. We can easily move up again. Then maybe it would suggest that we're going to get a move to these levels here. 200-day moving average, anchored VWAP from all-time high again, and the point of control of the tariff capitulation low range. So based on what I'm seeing, I can say that my analysis has remained exactly the same. And we talked about it in my last YouTube video. I also gave an update within my premium community, which is free, I'll remind you. The only thing that I regret from this bear market thus far is not entering my long right here on the sweep of 65K. 65K was a massive, massive confluence zone for Bitcoin. I highlighted it in the community. I was on a train with not great Wi-Fi, and we managed to retest it as well. And I am disappointed that I did not have the opportunity to re-enter, especially after flirting with the point of control of this range. Because this was too shallow or too short in time for us to already expect to move below 60K. So even though this whole range, and even now, I'm still expecting sub 60K Bitcoin, I regret not playing the long at least. Because if you've been tuning into the content, I was aggressively short at around $123,000. I took most of my profits right down here. I kind of skimped out a little bit because I thought that there's maybe a chance that we can gig along, and took a lot of profits on the way up. And guys, I have the receipts on the channel and within my group. I'm not just bullshitting you, you can check it out. So I went really like aggressively long here, made a few 100K in profit. Then I went even more aggressively short here, made another few 100K in profit. Of course, there's a couple of losses along the way, but they are insignificant compared to the wins. And then here, got chopped out with some price action, lost a few trades, 10K, 20K, even like a 50K one. And I'm still holding my swing short. Shorted Tau massively, made about 150K within this range. And now I think that it's going to be very interesting to see where Bitcoin closes the day and the 4-hour candle, which is in approximately 14 minutes. So my only regret really in this entire bear market thus far is not longing here. I did sell some Bitcoin back above 80K though that I accumulated from the bear market lows. Just to give you a quick recap, I still think that what we're seeing is a bear market relief rally. It sounds annoying, I know, and I want to be bullish, but I can't be bullish because we've seen even bigger rallies than this in previous bear markets, only to resort lower. So let's see. What's the top for S&P? I don't know. No one knows. Anyone that knows, anyone that says they know for sure, they are full of poop. Michael Saylor's selling talk seems manipulated. Not really. I mean, I don't know what you mean by manipulated. But he did say some. Guys, I'm also leaving some thoughts here and there on Twitter if you guys want access to. I mean, access. It's not access. You could just follow me on Twitter if you'd like to. No worries if you don't want to. Inflation has not been great and is going the wrong way. So this is something that we talked about at the beginning of the stream, guys. So the non-farm payrolls came in higher than the consensus and forecast. Unemployment rate came in same as expected. But with the job market holding up reasonably well, with non-farm payrolls still coming in pretty high, and inflation still remaining sticky, it's not an environment where they can cut rates. We went all the way to January of 2027. And in January 2027, there's actually a higher probability that they increase rates than cut. So it's pretty wild to see that. Why is Solana pumping so hard? 87. That's not a crazy pump. Zoom out. Hi, Clauslow. Hello. All right. How are we doing on the likes? 274. What are your thoughts on Link? Okay, legends. I know there's a lot of you that just care about like the overall market analysis, and that's the most important thing. But I don't want to jump into too many altcoins, because my answer for altcoins is just the exact same thing. And my answer is measure your altcoin against Bitcoin and tell me, how is it performing? We did it for let me just do it again. Crypto cap. Let's use Link BTC. So just take a look at this. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. What do you want me to say? What can I possibly say about Link? Guys, like, so it's the same thing with like you guys said, Dot was the other one we saw. There was another one. I mean, we could look at XRP if you guys want. I shot on XRP. Look at this. I actually talked about this in one of my videos so long ago. Wow. Playing the double bottom XRP Bitcoin. But look, everything bleeds to Bitcoin over the long term. It's something that a lot of people need to realize, and I think a lot of people still haven't realized it, thinking that these altcoins will make you rich. There will be opportunities in the market, absolutely, but usually it's the newer altcoins that can outperform, and then afterwards, over time, again, they underperform Bitcoin over a long enough period of time. I can't tell you, look, I cannot give you financial advice. If you look at a core win, yeah, it's possible. I'm looking at this closely. Guys, I was making the comparison to 2022. Where was it? Right around here. That's where Bitcoin was around this time, or stablecoin dominance. And then we had a nice move to the upside. If this has another nice move to the upside, it's GG's. Maybe alts will outperform for a short while, but we shall see. Like if Bitcoin holds above 80, there's a chance. And we actually just range around for a bit, yeah, there's a chance. Yes, but just because some altcoins are at their all-time lows, it doesn't mean that they can't go any lower. A lot of these altcoins, They are just absolute shit coins. I think this cycle opened everyone's eyes to that because it was a meme coin cycle. A lot of memes just went crazy. But then when you look under the hood, there's a lot of projects that seem to have fundamentals in the crypto space. And it turns out that they were also just shit coins under a different mask. So at least with meme coins, the founders come out and they say, by the way, this token has absolutely no utility, and it's completely up to you to speculate on it if you want. It's worse when it's a project that people try to take seriously, and the reality is they were just full of crap. So can you give us the odds of the Bitcoin bear market still being intact? I would say 65%. 70% actually. I would say 70%. If you live part-time in Canada and Dubai, do you pay taxes in Canada? No, I don't. I'm a resident of the UAE, and I spend most of my time in Dubai. So I do come to visit Canada, so I'm just not a resident here, so I don't pay Canadian taxes. But I have my apartment and my bank account and all of my stuff set up in the UAE. Pretty boring price action. We got this when the stream opened. Pump and dump. Dump and pump. Kira Yagami. Not going to talk about that on stream. Ooh, chop, 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 chop. Zane, Bitcoin is going to 84K. Let's see. We talked about the confluence. The confluence is just insane, guys. We can't hear you? Yusuf Geo, I think you should refresh because it seems like you're the only one right now that can't hear me. No sound. Oh, never mind. Refresh? Refresh the stream. I'm sorry, but right now there's no clarity here. Okay, 4-hour close is in. And that is not a bad 4-hour close. That is not a bad 4-hour close at all. got a sweep of the lows and a move higher. I think we're going to test 80,600 based on what I'm seeing here. That's a pretty decent 4-hour close considering how far down we moved. Swept the level, closed above. Let's see now. No, I don't think anyone's going to explore XRP. Video channel. I want to share a trade so badly, but we still got a solid 2 more hours that I'm willing to stream for. So maybe there's a better opportunity. I just, like, Trump is speaking now. No audio. I'm telling you right now, we do not want to get a full, like if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you don't want to see us get a 4-hour close below here, below $79,400, because this is a key pivot. We had a little bit of a double top. We reclaimed the level. You don't want to see us close below this level. Otherwise, we could open up downside towards the bottom of the bull market support band below 77K. But for now, we're above it. Audio did not drop once this live stream. I'm glad to hear that. Very glad to hear that. Perfect. Oof. I need I'm gonna text my girlfriend to bring some coffee. I got no audio. Anyone else got no audio? I wasn't talking for like a minute there. Hello from Southern California. Hello, Kimberly. I hope you're doing well. I also have a scone. Dun, 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 dun. You know what was interesting? In 2022, we had labor market data right at the same time, pumped into it, and then dumped, and that was the top, right at around this time. So let's see. Liquidity pretty balanced on both sides. 48 hour, we got a nice cluster just below 82K. If we take a look at the 2 week, how are we looking? Eesh. Guys, take a look at that. Juicy. Doesn't mean we have to hit it, I'll remind you. Damn, is it that obvious? Ask your girlfriend to get you a triple espresso, mate. You look like you are fading, but well done going this far. Come on. We're not even at the 3 hour mark. I've done 3.5 hours before. I am not fading. But I'm a little bit annoyed. It's more fun when there's like a trade I can take, but there's not much clarity here, right? You never want to force a trade if you don't see an opportunity. And right now I'm just observing the charts. Let me eat my scone. All right, Matt. I'm in the market for some plain black t-shirts. What is your go-to brand? There's one that I haven't. It's not my go-to, but I'm gonna order some probably today. There's a brand called. It depends on your fit, you know. There's a brand called Tailored Athlete. That one looked really interesting, and they caught my attention. So that one I'm gonna look to order. But otherwise, if you're looking for oversized tees, go-to has to be Uniqlo. Affordable, nice and baggy. It really depends what you want, though. I'm a bullish bear. Okay, Bitcoin bro. Sounds like we need to do a workout together. Next stream should be raw dogging FIFA for hours. I could definitely do that. Yeah, liquidity is looking interesting, guys. This is 2 weeks, of course. Do we get some more longs jumping in here? You could see this hasn't really changed from the beginning of the stream simply because the price is just stuck in between two levels. Guys, remember, if you want to trade the markets with me, you know where to find me. First link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. Again, you sign up with any of these links down below, and if you start trading on there, you're good to go. The more capital you're trading with or that you're comfortable trading with, the more individual attention I can give you as well in the DMs and stuff like that. action is relatively choppy, then typically it likes to trend towards liquidity. But it's not the be-all end-all. But because we're in a bear market and we have so much liquidity to the downside, my base case has also been leaning towards grabbing this downside liquidity. What are the odds you think we will go back to 82.8K plus versus just dump from here? I can't give you odds for that. Sorry. I want to like the odds of trying to target these highs, 81.7 or the ultimate highs so far, just under 83, greatly increase if we start to get higher time frame candle closes above $80,600. However, the odds of moving lower without claiming these highs also increase if we break below the range lows here with 4-hour candle closes. So sorry, that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but that's what it is. Can't give you odds. Not financial advice. Fashion advice, however, absolutely. Awesome live stream. Really enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in, Jay Beers. I appreciate it. I know it's a little bit chill, especially when there's not that much price action, but the videos are meant to be done in a way where it's very succinct, right to the point kind of analysis, what I think could be happening next. Live streams, I extend them a little bit and we have time to chat with each other and I can go through the comments and it's a much more chill vibe as I eat some food, grab some coffee. The Moon Show is calling for a Black Swan event. I mean, I'm not in the business of calling for black swans. If they happen, they happen, but like, I don't know anyone that's been able to successfully predict these kinds of things. Thanks, man. It's 2 a.m. here. I really appreciate everything you're doing for the community. I feel like you're very easy to understand, and that's why I like listening to you. Awesome, man. I do my best to make things easy to understand. A lot goes into the analysis beforehand, but when I come on the channel, the idea is that you guys have a clear picture of what I think could be happening next in the market. Can't hear anything. We've had quite a few comments like that this stream, so I'll have to check my audio and do some more tests after the stream. But guys, if you can't hear anything, it's highly likely that if you just refresh the stream on your browser, it should work again. I'm just not seeing a valid live trade here. Like, boom. This is the oops. Ah, come on. We'll play the SFP if we get the opportunity to do so on the stream. Again, man. Unbelievable. My trackpad is so glitchy right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Jeez. We did it. Yeah, Zane, that's what I was saying about crypto. Stock market is at all-time highs. And you have to understand that in midterm years, this has happened before where the stock market gets an all-time high and crypto just doesn't really do anything. But if stocks just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, then yeah, crypto can get some more relief. Bro, why don't you have an interest in Elliott wave theory? So that's a good question. It's not that I don't necessarily have an interest. I do think that on the higher time frames, it can be helpful. However, I have not needed Elliott wave theory to become a successful trader. And so, to me at least, I am one that advocates for simplicity. And if I've been able to make the money that I've made trading in the way that I've been doing it, why add something else to the equation? I don't need that. I genuinely don't need that. The interesting thing with Elliott wave theory, though, I have a lot of buddies of mine that use it, and I talked about them, Andy and Devolt, but a lot of the times we come to the same conclusions. So it's to each their own. You know what they say about trading? It does not take more than 6 months to find a winning strategy. Nowhere near that, actually. Now with AI, you can find winning strategies because you can backtest with AI. But it takes years to be able to manage your emotions and finally get the hang of proper risk management. It's the price you have to pay. It's the entry fee to trading. Losing money is the entry fee to trading. And only those that can sustain that end up making it over time. Most people end up giving up. Exactly. Never trade a running system. My system works. I don't need to necessarily add complexities to it. Like, we're moving by $100. Hey mate, good day from Australia. Can you explain your system, your daily routine? I feel like that's more of a video kind of question. I think I should produce a video on that. But because I'm a swing trader, there's a lot of times where nothing, like if I do my analysis at the beginning of the week and the price action has hardly moved to my swing trading zones, then there's almost nothing for me to do. Actually, Bitcoin Bro 82, that's not even that true. Because look, so you said it doesn't matter what strategy you use as long as you have at least a 51% win rate on your trades, 51% profits. Okay, not win rate. Okay, never mind, you're right. 51% profits. However, on the win rate topic, I know a lot of successful traders that trade with a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and they get massive positions in the market. And when they lose a lot smaller. That's usually my go-to when it comes to trading. I usually aim for over a 2-for-1 risk to reward, but my winners tend to be way bigger than multiple losses. There's been some periods as well. And if you're in my group, you know this already, where I made like 400K in 2-3 trades, and then I lost 150K across 6 trades. But net profit is all that matters when it comes to trading. That's all there is. How much money are you making? Ferrari FTW. I'm part of your group for almost a year now. And I think an educational vid about your daily routine would help a lot. Sure. I'll look into that. I'll write that down as a video idea. Do you work on other businesses during free time or just sports and chill? So the other quote unquote business is what I'm currently working on here. Mind Pillar Intel with Andy and Devolt. And for the most part, sports and chill, because you would not believe how exhausting it is to try to do content every day. I know a lot of people think it's so easy. Oh, you just post a video every day. Guys, it's a lot. It's a lot. I posted so many videos before I got any kind of okay traction. It's a lot. And now I'm pushing with the live streams too. Like after 4 hours of live stream, potentially 5 hours, like it adds up. It adds up. Plus the trading if I see opportunities in the market. We're almost at 300 likes. Oh, thank you very much. What? Did you get the right color? Oh, look at that. Looks great. Thank you. It's good. It's good. Thank you. I just got the coffee and some cheese and snacks. Nice. I'm fueled. Okay. Caro Karaoke Asia, I'm gonna ban you from the group or from the chat if you keep on talking about Ripple and XRP. Like I couldn't care less about XRP. Sorry. Cheese and snacks. Yeah. Some cheese and snacks. What's your go-to, Tim Hortons or McDonald's coffee? I have to be honest, both are kind of bad coffee. I've traveled so much that unfortunately it's just not great. I do like ice caps though. Those are good. When and how did you switch to full-time crypto? It was very gradual. As I said in a previous live stream, I was making good money at my job, and I would always recommend that you're not, like if you need, I would never recommend that you need crypto trading to survive. That is a recipe for a disaster. You need a reoccurring source of income, and that makes a few years to actually get decent at trading. And now here I am today, sharing with you what I'm doing in the markets. Guys, this is really boring price action. I'm looking at my analytics on my stream and the viewers are just going whoop. But what like what am I meant to do? How do I keep you guys entertained, legends? This is not an area where I want to enter any kind of high conviction trades. With all due respect, whoever is waiting for lower Bitcoin prices below 30K, its time is going to get mega wrecked. I don't know many people that are waiting for below 30K. That's crazy. If we were to ever get that, I would jump in. I would sell everything I own and jump in. Not financial advice, of course. But I'm just aiming for lower than 60 over the course of this year. I don't think we're going to go to 30K. We don't need to go to 30K. 100x a random trade. You guys know I'm not like that. Thank you. Cheeky little gamble. Okay, so here's the game plan. These are the range extremities that I'm looking for. If Bitcoin drops below this level, which is another $500, and we reclaim the level, I'm going to look to play the SFP short on the live stream. If we pump and then we get acceptance back below, SFP long. If we pump and then get acceptance back below $80,600, I'm simply going to look to play the SFP short. But until then, you know, I don't have that much to share. Imagine we pump to 92K. I would honestly love that in the sense of, yeah, my short would definitely be closed before then, but I would sell a good amount of Bitcoin, to be honest. Invalidation for like a proper bearish bias would have to be pretty damn high up, to be honest. And the only annoying thing with that is that then you'd be saying, oh, it's too late. But I have spot Bitcoin. Realistically, if Bitcoin is to pump, I would anticipate a rejection from around this zone. There's too much confluence. And I'm wondering if we don't even make it there because of the confluence, the 200-day moving average, the point of control of the range from the tariff capitulation lows, the anchored VWAP from all-time high. There's too much going on there. That's such a like my strategy tells me that that's such a short, irrespective of what's happening. Like I have to follow my strategy. So if we make it up there, it's going to be a pretty heavy short for me. But I'm still holding my existing short. Do you use skin products? Your skin is so clear. Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about having a girlfriend. They kind of teach you all these things with skincare and stuff. So I use regular skin products like a regular face wash, moisturizer, these kinds of things. Of course. Yeah, okay. Who's this? I'm blocking that person. Stop talking about XRP. No one gives a crap. Hide user. Done. In my experience, swing traders make more money than day traders. Day trading is great if you're getting into trading and you want to learn how price reacts to certain levels on the lower time frames, and then you can kind of expand that onto the higher time frames. But I've made more tangible dollars as a swing trader than I have from when I started day trading. That is abundantly clear. Is your hair curly originally? Yes. I have Canadian roots, but I also have roots from Brazil, Egypt, these kinds of places. All right, Bitcoin, come on, give us a cheeky little. Like I said, if we get the reactions at the levels that I'm eyeing, I'm willing to take a trade live. But if we can't, I already answered your question about my invalidation. Yeah, Alex Becker's good, very good. Like he's very, very good at marketing. No, I'm not really gonna take a look at Pump because I don't want to do these altcoin requests. The thing with Pump, put it on a chart against Bitcoin and you'll see that it's just starting to bleed against Bitcoin and will likely continue to do so. And I can say that with confidence. So again, over the long enough time horizon, doesn't make sense. I got wrecked on. Is Trump speaking now? Trump. Walter Bloomberg. This guy's does good at. Where is he? Yes, sorry, the stream kind of cut out. Yes, I do have French connections. My grandpa was actually from France. And French is my first language. Matt, do you consider yourself a Bitcoin maxi? Do you guys want to watch Trump? Is that going to be more entertaining if I pull up Trump's speech? Because last time I did this, you guys were like, "Man, this sucked," and then everyone just left the stream. So, let me know. Do you guys want to watch Trump? All right, 313 likes. You guys want to watch Trump? We doing this? Yes or no for Trump? Let me know in the stream comments. Yes or no? Turn Trump on, please. That makes things easier for me if you guys want to do that, if it's more entertaining. Yes, let's listen to the orange man. All right. No. Okay, we have one no, no, no. Yes, Trump. Yes, Trump. Yes, Trump. Listen to the orange man. Turn on Trump. If it's interesting, yes. Okay. We do it. So you guys said Fox, right? YouTube. We do Trump. Fox News.
It's really become great. And we added the pictures of the presidents from George Washington to a guy named Trump. And people really, they've loved it. We call it the Presidential Wall of Fame or Walk of Fame. We say you could call it either. Do you like walk or wall? Ready? Walk, Presidential Walk of Fame. Presidential Wall of Fame. Same. That's the same. I would call that a tie. But I want to thank you all for being here. It's amazing. The weekend we celebrate Mother's Day, honoring the women who raised us and all of the wonderful mothers in our lives for millions of American families. Sunday will be filled with love and gratitude and joy. I had a great mother, by the way. And today we're honored to be joined by many strong and truly heroic moms who have stood up for their children, both in life and in a very profound loss. Very, very terrible in many, just terrible loss. Many cases, and we have a lot of the greatest people on earth, angel moms. They're with us today. They're great people. They've been through so much, and I got to know so many of you during my first days of running. I got to know you, and I got to love you. But we want to thank you for being here. Mother's Day is one of the great days. I always think so fondly of my mother. I had a wonderful mother. Among those with us this afternoon are a number of the angel moms who saw their precious children stolen from them by the open border policies of the radical left. Open borders, I call them stupid borders, not open. I call them stupid borders by stupid people that put them there. And the migrant criminals that let them pour into our country, and bad things happened. Bad things happened. 25 million people came into our country. Many of them were criminals. Many of them were murderers. They allowed them in with their open border policy of stupidity. These incredibly brave and resilient women have turned terrible tragedy into unyielding resolve, becoming advocates so that their mothers do not have to endure the same heartache that they've felt all their lives. They've felt for so long. They've raised the most beautiful child, and they've spent so many years. In many cases, I see some of you I've known you for years, and others are unfortunately new members of that club. And I say unfortunately, it's a sad thing. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. In their honor, we've rapidly turned the worst and most dangerous border in the history of our country into the strongest border in American history. We have no people come in during the last 11 months. We have zero. Nobody even tries to come up. You know, you used to read about the thousands of people that would pour in and they'd just come up in caravans. I think it was my name I came up with. It looked like a caravan. 25, 30,000 people pouring up. They walk through Mexico. They come from all different locations, come from all over the world, actually. That people can even think that this is okay is pretty incredible. But For the past 12 months, that's been our number. These numbers are done by people that the numbers when I say zero, I actually mean zero. It's hard to believe actually, but they're done by people they tend to be somewhat on the left, so they're not going to give us a fair shake. And they say that people don't come anymore because they know they're not going to get through. So when they know they're not going to get through, they just don't come. And just on that, we save a lot of lives, because that journey up from Honduras and El Salvador and lots of other countries, or from the Congo, where they drop them there and they walk up and they come through our country. They emptied the prisons of the Congo into the area of the southern border and then told them to just walk in because stupid Americans are going to accept you beautifully. And these were hard, mean, vicious criminals they allowed into our country. How anybody can vote for these people is hard to believe, okay? It's hard to believe. But to a friend of mine, Marianne Mendoza. Marianne, where is Marianne? Where are you, Marianne? I got to know you right from the beginning, right? And I won't ask her that, but I would often ask, is it easier with time? Because time has gone by. Marianne, no, it's not. Sadly, it's not. You always hear it with time, but a lot of people say it's not easier. But you're a special woman. I've gotten to be a friend of yours. You're a special woman. What you have to go through is disgraceful. Tammy Nobles. Tammy, are you here? Tammy Nobles. Right. Does time help, Tammy? No. It used to be. Time heals all wounds, right? But it doesn't. When you love somebody that much, it doesn't help like it should. Jacqueline Medina, a great person. Where is Jacqueline? Jacqueline, where are you? Thank you, darling. Thank you. And so many others that I want to thank you for coming. And I don't think you've been treated properly. It's hard to believe, but the angel moms have not been treated properly. But this president treats you properly. I can't speak for others, but this one treats you properly. And we love you all, and all I can say is our hearts are out to you on Mother's Day, and you have a good Mother's Day. Go and have a good Mother's Day. In securing our border, we've also made tremendous strides in stopping the flow of illegal drugs into our country. The flood of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by 59%, and the drugs coming in by sea are down by 97%. 97%. And we're trying to figure out who the 3% are, because they are the bravest people on earth. You see how we stop them by sea. For years they'd go and catch the boat, bring them to court, they'd go in, they'd go out. By the time of the evening, they'd be back on another boat, bringing drugs in. So we gave them warning, and we don't do that anymore. We do it much more efficiently. But think of that, down by sea. A lot of them came in, about 50%. It's down 97. Now we've started a very strong, the sea was more difficult, and now we've started land, and you'll see it coming down. It's come down a lot, but you'll see it coming down. They come through Mexico for the most part. We have a problem because the cartels rule Mexico, and nobody else. The cartels, they just rule it. And, we lose 200,000 people a year through this poison that pours into our country. So we have the sea done, meaning the ocean, the waterways, pretty much done 97%, and we're going to have the land done very soon. I want to thank the brave moms fighting the epidemic of drug addiction, and this afternoon, including Ann Funder. Ann, you here someplace? Ann Funder does a great. Thank you, Jackie. I've known her for a long time. She looks better now than she did 20 years ago, right? Thank you very much, Jackie. Last summer, it was my great honor to sign the Halt Fentanyl Act into law, and we'll never give up on that mission for ending the drug epidemic in America. We've come a long way, though. We've stopped massive amounts of drugs from coming in. This afternoon, we're also joined by some of the most extraordinary mothers our nation has ever produced, our cherished Gold Star moms. These are Gold Star moms. These mothers raised up children so selfless and so devoted that they volunteered to wear the uniform of our nation and laid down their lives for all of us. One of those mothers is Janice Chance. Janice, where's Janice? Thank you, Janice. Hi, you look great. That's a beautiful hat. Thank you, Janice. Who lost her son, Marine Captain Jesse Melton, and I heard he was an outstanding. They give me lists and they tell me about people. You know, they said that Jesse was outstanding, Janice. They have the word outstanding. Thank you for being here. Just before he went to Afghanistan in 2008, Jesse told his mother, "Mom, I want to go change the world and make it an even better place. I want to make it a better place, Mom." Just before his 30th birthday, even though he had the day off, Jesse volunteered to take the place of a fellow Marine, and that of his brother-in-arms could be present for the birth of a daughter. That day, Jesse gave his life for our country. Jesse was struck down that day by helping somebody else. And Janice, I want to say America is a strong and free nation today because of people like your great son, and we want to thank you for being here. Thank you very much. I also want to express my love for the moms with us whose extraordinary heroes gave their lives in the terrorist attack at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. I got to know you very well, very well. And these are phenomenal people. We went to a club I own in Bedminster, New Jersey, which is beautiful. They played music. They said, "Do you actually think he's coming out?" They said, "Yes." And I was going to do just to stop by and say hello. And we ended up listening to music for 4 hours on that beautiful night, looking at the sky, thinking about those wonderful people. Abbey Gate, very well known. Should have never happened. That should have never happened. That was incompetence by the Biden administration. So to Alice Lopez, you know that, right? Yeah, we know that. To Alicia Lopez and Paula Knaus, Self, Coral, Brasinho, and to all of the Abbey Gate moms, we're thinking of you on this Mother's Day. And again, we had you to the White House. We had you to, I was over at a very beautiful cemetery, as beautiful as they can be, but, you know, it's a sad occasion. We went over and we paid our respects, but we lost great people that day. We shouldn't have lost any people that day. Gross incompetence. This Mother's Day, we're thinking of all of those incredible moms, and we're doing everything in our power to support them and millions of other mothers all across America. And we're blessed to have many wonderful mothers serving in this administration, including Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who's doing a phenomenal job. Thank you very much. And the first woman ever to serve as a White House Chief of Staff. She's become a legend, Susie Wiles. She's amazing. To help American families and mothers, we passed a great, big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cuts in American history. We expanded the child tax credit to $2,200 from a much lower number per child, and delivered the largest expansion of school choice in American history. We have school choice all over now. We had virtually none. Everybody loves school choice. With accounts, we have a very special thing, the Trump accounts, where we're helping families to set aside tax advantage savings for their children's future, and we are giving every American newborn child $1,000 automatically to invest and to grow over the course of their lives. And I want to thank the Dell family. It's a great family. He is amazing. She is amazing. They've done such a job on that. They put up a lot of money to put up $6,250,000,000. That's somebody. And he started making computers on his bed in college and selling them because they were better than other computers. And I said, "How did you do that?" He said, "Well, I did it and I just never stopped. It just kept going." So go out and buy a Dell. They're great. We're also working to make it easier than ever before to start a family by lowering the price of IVF, cutting regulatory battles and barriers, and fighting to bring down the cost of living so that more Americans
Should I turn him off?
pursue the dream of, and it's a dream of living just a good life, maybe a great life. We cut drug prices now with the favored nations, most favored nations. We cut them by 70, 80, 90%. You could say 500%, 600, depending on the way you phrase the statement. But we now play, when I was here, this was a big ambition right at the beginning. I was able to cut them a little bit, but I didn't cut them. I cut them more than anybody else, which was a little bit. Because for 28 years, drug prices and prescription drugs only went in one direction. And when I came back, we now did something that everybody said was impossible. Favored nations. We had the highest drug prices in the world by far. Now we have the lowest drug prices in the world. Can you imagine? So we cut them by 50, 60, 70%, and go out and you'll see exactly. It's one of the I think it's one of the biggest things that we've done. Drugs that were costing in London $10 for a pill would cost $130 for a pill in the United States. And now, if it's $10 or if it's $20, that's what we pay. We pay the lowest price anywhere in the world, so it's great. And the fake news doesn't want to write about it, but that's why I talk about it, because we have no choice. We have to. So I just want to, again, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's so important. We do things like we keep men out of women's sports, a very popular issue. We stopped transgender mutilization of your children for everyone. We don't have that. But I want to thank every single mother here this afternoon and all across our nation for your work every single day. America's moms are really raising the future of our country, the most important. You have the most, we don't call it a job because when you love it, it's not a job, but for this purpose, you have the most important job there is in America or any place else, and you're doing an incredible job. I just want to wish you all a very happy Mother's Day. We're going to have a great Mother's Day, and for those mothers that lost their child, many of whom are with us today, the angel moms and others, Gold Star moms, we love you especially. We love you maybe even the most. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. All right. Enough of that. Interesting in terms of Mother's Day, but not necessarily interesting in terms of the markets. Bitcoin effectively did nothing, which makes sense because it's irrelevant to the markets. Get back to it. All right. So, what do we do with this price action, legends? When Bitcoin just chops around like this, what do we do with the price action? 15-minute chart. You can see 1 hour candle. It's just choppy. There's no clear entry for a potential trade here. There just isn't. We wait. Exactly. We wait. I think the triangle will resolve down. Let's see, guys. The reason why, just to give you an update, especially if you're just tuning into the stream now, I know not many people are watching. Normally there's around 200 to 250 people watching. Right now there's around 160. So I just want to give you a quick recap, especially if you're new to the stream. The reason why this level, $79,400, is so significant is because we formed a little bit of a double topping pattern here. And that's when Bitcoin dropped to below $75,000. So losing this level, in my opinion, of course, would signal weakness. I think we're gonna probably do this stream for another good 30 minutes or so, but I just wanted to bring you through at the end of the stream here my higher time frame analysis, shorter time frame analysis, what I'm looking for to potentially add to my existing short position, what I'm looking for to see the bear market continue to play out, because as you know, if you've been watching the channel, nothing has changed from my perspective, even on this relief rally. So let's talk about it. We're gonna do another solid, call it just under 30 minutes or so. We're gonna make it a 4-hour stream, which would be a record for me. And then the next one, we'll try to go even longer. But I can see right now that people are just dropping off. So it's clear to me that the stream and Trump did not incentivize people to stay. So shorter time frame. This is what I'm potentially looking at. Either we get a sweep of the $80,600 level, and then a draw sweep, and then we get a reclaim, and that's a long trigger from my perspective. The thing that we must understand, and I'm gonna take you through why on the higher time frames, I am still bearish on the higher time frames. Can we get a move up? Yes. Actually, let me know in the comments right now. Right now, let me know in the comments if you would rather I start with the lower time frames and go towards the higher time frames to wrap up the stream, or if you would prefer higher time frame into lower time frame. Let me know. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to leave your comments. Okay. Mostly higher to low. Mostly higher to low. All right. So, higher time frame analysis. So, we have, first and foremost, stablecoin dominance is currently on the weekly time frame, holding on to its bull market support band. This is historically not bullish for crypto assets. On this dump for stablecoin dominance, and this includes USDT and USDC, the major stables, obviously this is when Bitcoin rallies and the rest of the crypto market gets a little bit of relief. If we manage to hold above here, it would suggest that we can get another move to the upside, which would also suggest Bitcoin continuing to struggle over the course of this bear market. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, daily time frame, I should say. You can see here that yesterday we had a little bit of a rejection stemming from this 82.8K level. Now, from my perspective, there wasn't necessarily a short trigger here. Some people were talking about a naked daily point of control and things like that, but I was really eyeing the 200-day moving average. And the reason why this rejection is significant is because in the previous cycles, with having massive confluence at a zone, we rejected right before tapping into the zone. So the confluence back in 2022 was over here, where you can see that Bitcoin effectively did the same thing, reclaimed the bull market support band, and we did not tap into the 200-day moving average. We came very, very close, even closer than we came to recently. And then the rest was history. Look how much we dropped. So there's a chance that that could happen. Now, I've already explained why from all-time high to the 60K low, I don't think that that was the bear market bottom. And I think that this is just another relief rally. The rally that I just showed you in 2022 was almost a 47% rally. What we saw here is almost a 40% rally, which is pretty typical in bear markets. It's a bear market relief rally. We can have aggressive rallies. It's happened before. More immediately, if we start to lose $79,400, I would think that what's going to happen is we're going to test the bull market support band, which is found between 78.4K up to around 79.4K. This could create another bounce. We saw it in 2018, we saw it in 2022. Sometimes the bounce actually creates a higher high before rejecting. Sometimes the bounce creates a lower high before rejecting. But usually the common theme is we get a rejection. Now, of course, I'm not a fortune teller, I've never claimed to be, but taking a look at the historical price action for Bitcoin, to me suggests that we can experience resistance in this zone, particularly with all the liquidity that it's currently below us on the higher time frames like the 30-day. Now, yes, people are interested in shorts, but you can still see that at this point in time, there's around 3 times more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. Now, what if Bitcoin reclaims the level that I highlighted at the beginning of the stream, $80,600? If Bitcoin reclaims $80,600, there is a chance that we get another push higher. And by reclaim, I mean strong candle closes above this level. The reason why that is significant is because it's the bottom of the range where we had a nice move up to around 98K before rejecting. So reclaiming the bottom of a previous range may suggest that Bitcoin is ready to establish a new range, which could send it higher. So what I'm currently looking at here, if we are to reclaim that level, is the massive confluence zone that we highlighted. The 200-day moving average, the anchored VWAP from all-time highs to where we are today, the point of control of the tariff capitulation low range, which sent Bitcoin higher. This was a pretty significant range, and the most amount of volume, as you know, is at the point of control. I drew the line all the way across, and that's found at around $84,000. So this little pocket here, this zone, if Bitcoin is to move higher, becomes highly, highly interesting, particularly if we take a fib from this high to the low, and the golden pocket is also within that zone. So you can see how much confluence is there. And if we want to talk about liquidity as well, we can, because there is some liquidity getting built up between 83 up to 85K. So my trading strategy tells me that I need to effectively take a short at that level based on the price action. So much confluence. And I think that it makes a great risk to reward if we do get to that zone. I'll share it in my community if I decide to take a trade. By the way, if you want to join the community, you have that first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join for free, where I share all of my own personal trades. And the trades that I show on the channel are typically the trades that I've taken in that group and shared publicly. It's free. You're trading with your own money. All you have to do is sign up with one of these links down below and you have access to that group. So that's the higher time frame, really. We start reclaiming this massive confluence zone, then that may suggest that Bitcoin wants to move much higher. We've gained acceptance in the range, and that's all there is to it. We have to assess the price action there. But if Bitcoin starts climbing higher from there, I mean, at that point in time, I would probably consider selling some more Bitcoin, because I did sell some Bitcoin back above $80,000, the Bitcoin that I accumulated between 15 and 30K in the previous bear market. So that's the higher time frame, along with a little bit of lower time frame. Lower time frame, I have to be honest, the only levels that I'm personally looking at here are the following. We have $80,600 and we have $79,400. Right now, we're just stuck in between these two levels, and that's what I'm looking for. I also mentioned in my group that I may look to play a potential long setup if and only if we tap into the bull market support band and it looks like we're holding as support for a potential bounce, because we saw that usually getting rejected right before the 200-day moving average, which is this blue line here, excuse my drawings, we can go to the bull market support band, get another bounce, and then we'll have to determine whether that's a higher high or a lower high. And yeah, the stock market is at an all-time high, and Bitcoin continues to struggle. And we talked about this. This has happened before in bear markets. It's not uncommon where the stock market struggles, even where the stock market gets an all-time high and Bitcoin still struggles. I personally think that this is a bear market relief rally, to reiterate my point. So that's basically, and now there's only 130 of you watching, but that's basically what I think could be happening on the higher time frames. All my analysis has led me to this point. I think there's a lot of longs in the market still. I know that the funding rate recently had been negative, and that's been a common topic across social media. However, the funding rate can remain positive in a bull market as Bitcoin continues to climb up. We have flushes, but we continue to climb up. Same thing with a bear market. The funding rate can remain negative. We have little flushes, and I think recently it turned positive, and then we end up continuing our trajectory downwards. The drawdown from all-time high, in my opinion, has not been sufficient. But if I am proven wrong, I still hold some spot Bitcoin, and that's why I've been an advocate for never being 100% cash, because you always want to make sure that you have some exposure to the market. If I have to rebuy higher, I have to rebuy higher. But everything, in my opinion, brings me to the conclusion that I just made here. So I hope that was a good summary of my thoughts. Let me know if you enjoyed that. I know there's just over 100 of you watching. We're gonna try to see if we can pump up the likes. 332. Thank you, Legend. I appreciate you. Now it feels like yeah. Now I feel like I got energy, guys. I had some food, I had some coffee. I'm ready to go for another 8 hours. Zane, we are in an uptrend short term though, but if we lose $79,400, that can change very quickly. Rest, dude. The grind don't stop. Guys, remember I have some of the best bonuses in the industry. I don't see anyone else offering this. On Bluffin, you can earn $50,000 in withdrawable bonuses. Withdrawable. Most of these bonuses, you have to use the capital to trade on the exchange. Obviously, it requires significant trading volume, but all of these are withdrawable bonuses. Then you have the regular deposit bonuses. If you're a new trader, you can earn a free position on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Make sure to sign up with the second link in my description down below. It's Will Anderson, my man. Thank you for tuning in. You're always on the streams. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you. If Bitcoin crosses 83K, should we worry? Raga and Rhythms. Man, did you not hear what I just said? Come on, man. Pay attention to the stream. I'm not even gonna repeat myself there. You need to just listen to what I said. Oh man. All that for you to ask me a question about 83K if we pass 83K. Look at the confluence zone that I highlighted. This is what I mean when it's frustrating. Just pouring your heart and soul out there and then you ask a question like that. Come on, man. Come on. It's a no trade Netflix day. I'm hunting a scalp trade. I am hunting a scalp trade at this very moment. Would you enter long or rather short? At this very moment, I wouldn't enter anything. I wouldn't enter anything. Oh, the other thing that I want to add to my analysis is not sure why it's not showing. Just regular volume. So we zoom out on the weekly. Guys, like the volume has just also continued to decline. That's not bullish, in my opinion. Remind them how comfy you are in your spot bag. I'm very comfy in my spot bag. I believe in the asset class long term, and nothing's going to change that. But I can't tell you how excited I am to just be absolutely bullish. But it's not time for that yet, in my opinion. Let's see. Will history repeat? Will history repeat? I'm kind of confused with a stretch because I thought Saylor was going to buy some Bitcoin today, and he did, but he bought 1 Bitcoin because I think he crossed par and then it just went right back down. Very interesting. Oh man, it's going to be so fun when I'm giga bullish. I'm looking forward to it. Because everyone, here's the one thing that I noticed in who are bearish and wrong. That's when it becomes an issue, and everyone just starts absolutely flaming you. So, ETH starting to climb. Why is 79,400 so important? We could go to 78.9 and bounce up, or again, I mean 4-hour closes. Yeah, higher time frame candle closes. Wicks are totally fine. And again, like I highlighted here, if we get a wick and then a reclaim, I'm probably going to enter a long. You know? It's 4-hour closes. Like if we start to get significant closes below this level, which is where we effectively had a double top, it shows significant weakness in the market, in my opinion. But if we just come back below, like look what happened here. We dropped below, reclaim, and then we got a nice move up to $80,500. That's just more of a scalping perspective. Tom Lee says the crypto winter is over. Watching you daily, thank you for your work. Thank you, I appreciate you. Yeah, the ETH Bitcoin chart looks diabolical. 100%, it looks terrible. $342 likes. Legends. We're just wrapping up at the 4-hour mark. I can see that a lot of people have started to leave the stream. Make sure to just smash that like button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow and it gets it the exposure that we're hoping to get so I can make a positive impact in the crypto space. You may not always agree with me and that's totally fine, but any trades that I take, I win, I lose, I come on the channel, I talk about it. There's nothing to hide, and here I am. So if you enjoyed the content, as always, make sure to smash that like button, make sure to subscribe, turn on that post notification bell. You know where to find me if you want to see how I'm trading the market on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis before I come on the YouTube channel. DM me that keyword CBM on Telegram to join the group. All the exchange links down below with some of the best bonuses across the industry. And that's that. If you enjoyed the content, again, destroy that like button. I hope everyone has an absolutely phenomenal weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.